So what's the best sealant material on the market today? I've been a hygienist for about 8 years, and I've done a lot of sealants over that time. I see a lot of kids. I've tried maybe like 8 to 10 different brands, and I've come up with my top 3 favorites. So I'm going to show you those and talk about those a little bit. So the first one is 3M's Clean Pro. Some of you guys might have tried this or currently use this brand. This brand here is it's very thin, very almost watery like. It's considered unfilled resin. I think it's like 6 or 7% filled. It's also pink, so it kind of helps you place the sealant. Personally, I don't really care about the pink color. I use loops and I can really see the grooves even with a white sealant. But anyway, some hygienists do like that part of it. Because it's very thin, it's pretty easy, and it comes with a very thin tip. I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but it's a very thin tip. So you can kind of use that to push the sealant material into the grooves very well. The only negative thing about that is, because the patient's kind of up a little bit, so you have like gravity going against you. Sometimes the sealant's kind of moving, as you're working, so you have to kind of like work it back up into the grooves, but not a big deal. So overall, it's a good sealant material. All right, second one is from Pulpdent. It's the Embrace sealant. This is the first wet bond type sealant that I used, and I really like the wet bond type sealants. I've been using this for many years. The margins are much better. Not much better, but better than the Clean Pro, I think. This is a filled sealant, so this is about like 37%, something like that. So it's much thicker. I use Isolite when I do sealants, and even that's not like a perfect isolation every time. So these wet bond sealants, I think it's really nice to have that. I mean, you don't want to have the tooth wet, of course, even though the instructions say to keep it slightly moist, but I just dry it. But in those less than perfect conditions, like this sealant really works well. I've worked with assistants and other hygienists and even dentists that really their protocol, their technique for sealants is not really that good, and I see the recalls on this, and it's a lot better than the Clean Pro for doing it poorly, basically. So I've been pretty impressed over the years by the Embrace. So that's my second favorite. The third is my favorite sealant material is from Ultradent. They've always had their sealant material for years that was pretty high end, but this is their wet bond version. It's the UltraSeal XT Hydro. I've been using this for like a year now, and it's basically everything Embrace is, but better. It's like a little bit better. Easier to place. It's more filled, so it's thicker. It's like 51% filled resin, something like that. So it's easier to move around. It's after you cure it, it looks really good. It looks a little bit better than the Embrace. My recalls have been better. So this is my go-to sealant now. I like it so much that my employer doesn't even buy this, and I buy this myself just because I just like to place the best sealant possible. So this is my favorite right here. If you guys have any questions about the sealants or any comments or disagreements or whatever, you can drop a comment below. Thanks.